Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of TEDXcellence, an ongoing live series in which yours truly attempts, through entertaining analysis, to maintain his sanity while hunkered down in his Corona bunker. I hope everyone who is listening is well, and you remain well. If you're not well, please get well soon, and all the best to you and your families. I got done with my working from home workday and needed something to, cleanse my mental palate, I suppose. And what better way to do that than by watching some TEDx? So this one was posted today. So it's brand new. Never seen it before. Nobody else has seen it. Well, except for, I guess, those people who really watch TEDx a lot, which I guess is me. I'm sad. Anyway, so yeah, this one, it deals with beauty. It deals with, I'm assuming, perhaps body image or thereabouts. I'm not quite sure. The title of the presentation is Beauty, a Bad Investment. I'll be curious to see the argument there too in a moment. But before we get there, say hello to those that have decided to join me. Decode, hello. Steve Luzon, hello. Mike Savage, hello. Cougar Knife, hello. Johnny Hellcat, hello. Mike Downey, hello. The Dead Kaiser, hello. Now, for those of you that might be joining late or joining in the future, like, gee, Scribe, why didn't you tell people that you were going to do this ahead of time? And my thought is, at present, it's futile, because YouTube isn't alerting people when I make posts or when I schedule streams. And so I'll just do it when I feel like it. If YouTube ends up fixing that in the near future, or I get enough reliable responses to tell me that that's the case, I might do more of a scheduled thing. But right now, it's just sort of a catch-as-catch-can situation. I was done, for the most part, with my workday, unless or until something else comes up. And I had some extra time, because that's all I've got now, as with most of us. So anyway, enough preamble. Let us get into this. So as per usual, yes, and thank you, Gulf City Cult of Krill, just shared the stream. I'll reiterate, as we do on Lords of the Night every night, and especially now with whatever YouTube's doing. You guys, the audience, my audience, Monkey's audience, Satsu's audience, the audience of any content creator that you appreciate. You are the best algorithm. You are the best method of letting people know that channels exist, those channels that you appreciate. So whether it's me or anybody else, if you like something, let people know. Share it, retweet it, whatever. Post something onto MySpace, make a live journal blog about it, something, as I hearken back to antiquated internet lore. But yeah. Please do. It helps out everybody in the long run. And you do, unfortunately, what YouTube won't, and actually support the people that create the content for their own site. Anyway, per usual, I'll be playing the first couple of seconds of this, and you guys need to tell me if you can hear the audio. I'm pretty sure I have it set up now. I'm pretty sure broadcast to broadcast, I have it set up correctly. But all things considered, I never want to make assumptions. So with that being said, let's begin. I'll give it about 5 or 6, or when she gets to her first pause.
How much does beauty matter?
Okay, well, that was convenient. How much does beauty matter, she said. Everybody hear that? Let me know in the chat. Gayest person on YouTube says, I send it to my friends on ICQ. Good job. ICQ, AIM, good God, Yahoo Messenger, that kind of thing. Let's see. Assassin the Grace says, assume the worst with the TED Talk. Well, Mike Savage says 5x5. Chapin Cap says, sounds good. Gulf City says, audio is fine. Hello, Amada Wolfchild. P-Dog Knight, hello. Cody Fry, hello. All right, so let's get into it. Beauty. Does it matter?
Do our looks determine our destiny?
No, not inherently. How you present yourself to the world, however, the care in which you take to, go out and interact with other people, can say a lot about how you appreciate yourself, barring anything else. So, no, it doesn't determine, but it certainly can't hurt.
Social science research teaches us.
Well, social science research. Okay, so amorphous ideas and opinions teaches us. Got it.
That a person's physical appearance has a meaningful impact on their life experiences and opportunities.
You don't say. You don't say. Golly. So if I walk around smelling like a sewer and dressed in tattered clothing of my own free will, not out of circumstance, I'm going to have a different experience compared to somebody who bathes regularly, takes care of themselves, and brushes their teeth. Man, I'm amazed. Thank you, social science.
Many people believe that this means they should spend a lot of time, money, and energy trying to look as good as possible. But I'm here today to tell you why beauty is usually a bad investment.
Really? Well, I'm curious to know. How much did you pay to have your hair done like that? How much time did you spend putting on makeup for this very presentation? How long did you spend deciding on which clothes to wear for this presentation? Did you bathe? Did you put on something that smells nice? How much did you spend on all that? And if you spent anything at all, how much do you invest in your own beauty, might I ask? Nice glasses, by the way.
I'm an author and a sociologist. My research examines the relationship between physical appearance and social inequality.
The relationship between physical appearance and social inequality. Okay, and I'm not much of a research scientist. Doesn't saying social inequality first assume a social inequality? If you're actually doing research, don't you have to go into it without prior assumptions? Why don't you just measure the effect of physical appearance on interactions and see what you come up with? If you go into it assuming social inequality on the basis of appearance, you've already come to a conclusion before you've even done your studies. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm happy to be corrected.
I came to this topic because I used to believe that being attractive was very, very important.
And you no longer believe that way, which is why you've spent so much time and presumably money on looking the way that you do. Got it.
I thought that I couldn't be happy, successful, or lovable unless I fit a very narrow definition of beauty. One that, for me, required a lot of money spent on beauty products, a lot of time in the gym, and constant, unrelenting dieting, which for me became an eating disorder.
Okay, well, then you were doing it wrong. Becoming obsessed about your looks, obsessed about your eating, is an obsession, and obsessions aren't healthy. So you made, and not to judge, but everybody does this from time to time, you made some bad choices for yourself. So now, because you feel like you treated yourself unfairly, or that the world, such as it is, was expecting too much of you, are you now just maybe projecting your own insecurities on the rest of the world? Maybe.
I've since recovered, thankfully. And the most powerful lesson I learned in my path to wellness is this. If you seek happiness and life satisfaction, beauty is a bad investment. Okay,
I won't deny that, a narcissistic sense of self in and of itself is probably not life fulfilling. Being obsessed with your looks is indeed not healthy because, again, it's an obsession. So for that small segment of the population that is so focused on their looks that it becomes unhealthy, I'm going to agree with our speaker. But that is not reflective of the majority.
Now, it's true that highly attractive people enjoy a lot of perks. For example, there's a psychological concept called the halo effect that has very strong ties to beauty. Upon a first impression, highly attractive people are presumed by others to have all sorts of positive personality traits, including altruism, stability, and even higher intelligence.
Okay, I will grant you that. People who are ridiculously just naturally attractive are naturally attractive. And certain assumptions can be made about someone, I suppose, on the basis of that alone. Or if you're looking at, say, e-girls, for example. Now, I know for a fact that not every e-girl is an airhead. However, if I see someone on cam showing off their assets, let's say, gratuitously for attention, I can make some perhaps stereotypical assumptions about them. They're not necessarily flattering, simply on the basis of their being physically attractive. So it really depends on context, in my opinion.
It's as though a halo were shining down from heaven to anoint the beautiful.
That sounds like jealousy to me, but maybe I'm just making assumptions.
This helps explain rampant appearance discrimination in our job markets, in our dating markets, and even in our criminal justice system.
Oh, so you'll date anyone no matter what they look like. You have no biases about physical appearance. You are a saint as compared to the rest of us lowly, wretched groundlings. I guess.
Highly attractive people are more likely to be employed. They earn higher wages. They're more likely to get a loan. They negotiate better terms for those loans. And they end up marrying highly attractive and higher status spouses.
Do they? So, wait, simply being attractive imparts upon one all sorts of skills in negotiation, in job responsibilities, all this stuff simply from being attractive. That's amazing, because I've known some pretty down and out hot people. But again, what do I know? I'm not a social scientist.
We also know that good-looking criminals face lower punishments for their crimes. But I'll let you Google hot convict on your own time for that story, but you really should Google it.
Yes, being physically attractive and having committed crimes, indemnifies one from punishment, which is why hot convict has become a meme, and why all of those teachers, those really hot female teachers, all of them end up getting slaps on the wrist. Well, okay. Most of them do. But the ones that don't, they don't. And, okay, she might have a point there somewhere.
Now, the research I've just described paints a picture in which beauty predicts the good life, but it isn't that simple. In fact, I caution anyone from investing too much in their own appearance.
Wait a second. It's not that simple, but you just said it was that simple. You just said people who are more attractive get A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If it's not an automatic, if it's not a inherent privilege, why is it more complicated?
Why? Let's take a look at the data. First of all, most of the research on appearance is based on highly subjective ratings of beauty. Typically, a research team made up of 1 or 2 professors and a handful of graduate students looks at photographic images of people and rates them on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being extremely unattractive and 5 being extremely attractive. Why don't we try this ourselves?
Oh, yes, let's do it now. It's probably just as scientifically accurate as a couple of professors and a handful of graduate students deciding what's hotter, what's not.
You ready? So I'll be the professor, you be my students. Works for me. And I'm about to show you an image of a person, and I want you to keep your thoughts to yourself. I don't want you to influence each other. But when I show you this image, I want you to ask yourself.
Okay, so when she shows us this image, chat, a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being highly unattractive and 5 being highly attractive. Put it into the chat as we go through these pictures, okay? I'm curious to know your thoughts. We'll be as scientific as the social science researchers. Okay, here we go. Okay. Well, in my mind, he looks a little goofy. I'm not being, judgmental in that sense, just sort of my initial reaction. I'm going to say, no homo. I'm about maybe a 7, I'll say. 6 or 7. He's not bad, I guess. He's not horrible looking. Clean cut, well-dressed, nice smile, good teeth. The eyes and the brow are a little squared off, I guess, for my taste, if I had one. So there you go. Yeah, a 6 or a 7. Oh, wait, a 6 or a 7. I meant 1 to 5, right? So a 4. We'll say a 4. My bad. Yeah, I'll say a 4, 3 or 4, somewhere in there. 3.5, 4. Okay, not horrible, above average, maybe, I guess. I mean, depending on the scale. All right, I already screwed that up, so let's move on.
How attractive is this person? A 3, a 4, 2, 5, 1? What's your number? Now, how confident do you feel that the person sitting next to you is thinking of the exact same number?
What does that have to do with anything? This is social science, and beauty is subjective.
The truth is, we all have our biases. And in fact, I'm the most biased person in the room right now because this is my husband.
Okay.
His name is Michael, and I happen to think he's incredibly attractive. But my point here isn't to convince you of Michael's attractiveness. Rather, I want to illustrate that beauty really is in the eye of the beholder.
Hey, that's the title I picked for this stream. What a coincidence.
This is not an exact science.
Okay, well, I'm glad you admitted that. Social science and ratings of beauty is not an exact science. Okay, well, would you like to undercut your premise even more? I'd love to hear it.
Now, we're pretty good at agreeing with each other when we're rating a person who is either a 1 or a 5. So extremely unattractive or extremely attractive. But that's because these are the extremes. In these studies, over 95% of people end up being rated as a 2, a 3, or a 4.
You're kidding me. Wow, you mean most people are somewhere in the average realm of what is instantly unattractive or instantly attractive? Golly, that's not amazing at all. What am I supposed to be learning from this conversation again?
In other words, we're all pretty much just average.
So there's no use in trying? Is that the message here?
And I, for one, in this point in my life, find a lot of comfort in that.
Because you're already married, you don't have to impress anybody anymore, unless your husband is particularly particular, and you're comfortable. Well, good for you, I guess.
Now, it shouldn't surprise you that the research I described above, showing differences in, say, income, that the strongest findings show up when we compare the 1s to the 5s.
Really? And I hate to bring up a most current example, but you want to talk about wealth to looks and then look at Harvey Weinstein? I mean, he might be an outlier, but let's be honest. looks alone does not guarantee your destiny, as we've already discussed.
But if we compare, say, a 3 to a 4, that's one level of separation, or even a 1 to a 4, which is 3 levels of separation, the findings are minuscule. In statistical terms, they're frequently insignificant. In other words, even if it were possible to dramatically change our looks, a person would have to change from being extremely unattractive to being extremely attractive in order to experience the kinds of benefits that I described a few seconds ago.
So don't bother trying. Is that it? I mean, don't bother getting into better shape or trying a new haircut or trying to get some kind of sense of style or something. I mean, truth be told, short of massive reconstructive surgery or ridiculous weight loss or muscle gain or something, you're not going to drastically change what you look like necessarily. However, if you decide to put some effort into looking better or being more presentable to people, that's not a bad thing. I mean, the line between being, healthfully conscious of your appearance and being obsessed, that's a hard one to measure. Obsession's no good. But are you just telling us that, those of us in the middle, we're never going to get any better, so why bother? Is that the message I'm getting here?
And guess what? It isn't possible. It's not possible, even with modern day technology, including plastic surgery. In other words, spending a lot of money on beauty products, whether it's eyelash extensions or hair plugs, or spending a lot of time forcing yourself into that last diet that is, by the way, never going to be your last diet, ever. Much less exposing yourself to risky and painful medical procedures.
Okay, the risky, painful medical procedures, the stuff where a knife is involved, or a scalpel, I should say, yeah, that is a step beyond the norm. And that'll always be, contingent on what your personal circumstances are or the necessity thereof. But just give up. Don't bother. Don't even try. I know I'm not a social scientist, and I'm certainly not a psychologist, but I do own a couch. And my couch tells me this lady is projecting a bit of her own insecurities and sense of futility onto the rest of the world, I think.
These things are not a logical investment of your precious resources. They're just not.
You say that so definitively. So I shouldn't try altering my eating habits to try to get into better shape or just be healthier overall. I shouldn't go and try something new with my hair or think about, I don't know, going to the gym or anything like that. Just kind of accept it, give up, not worry about it, hope nobody else thinks badly of me as a result, that kind of thing. Okay.
So when I tell people this, some people are really relieved. They're like, whew, pressure's off.
That's all it took? You telling them that? Wow, you must be magic.
But a lot of people are upset. Why? Because many of us, myself included, have operated in our lives as though by controlling our appearance, we control our destinies. By improving our appearance, we improve our destinies.
Look, as I said at the beginning, and I'll say it again, no one is necessarily going to be able to wake up one day, change how they dress a little bit, get a different haircut, and suddenly be Denzel Washington, right? Or Catherine Zeta-Jones or something. That is true. However, again, how you present yourself, the way in which you move through the world and comport yourself towards the world and towards your situation and towards others is a reflection of your own self-image. I mean, I take care of myself. I'm not any kind of Adonis, and I don't expect I ever will be. But I am well dressed. I am well taken care of. I've got a clean cut appearance. I take time to look the best that I can to my own satisfaction because I am telling people something. I'm expressing something. It's kind of like silent language. I'm telling people I appreciate myself and I appreciate how I appear in the rest of the world and to the rest of the world. That says something about me. Just like if you walked into my apartment and you saw the state of my apartment, right? Now, if my apartment is all messy and haphazard, well, that would send you a message of how I care about my own personal sense of self-respect. But if my apartment is well maintained and well organized, that is also a reflection of my own self-respect. It's not just about ego necessarily, although there is that in there too, of course. It's not just about feeling terrible about myself, so I try too hard to look good. There are people that operate like that, certainly, but it's not a definitive. So just saying give up or why bother or don't put any effort into it, that's defeatist. That's not sort of like, it's unhealthy to reach for something that you're never going to attain. Really? Is that the message you want to put across? Don't bother trying, you're never going to get there? I don't know. That's not quite the attitude I would take.
And it doesn't feel fair, and it isn't fair that something we're born with and can't really change should impact our lives so much.
Really? Well, you should tell that to all the people who promote the white privilege notion, or any other notion wherein how you look that is immutable somehow determines your value, your intelligence, your fortunes, etc.
But this only matters on an individual level if your definition of success is totally entangled in money and status.
We're not talking about money and status and success. We're talking about looks. You can get money and status and success in the absence of looks. Again, look at Harvey Weinstein. Not that I want to look at Harvey Weinstein, but let's see who else. Tommy Lee Jones. Okay, let's take a look at somebody who's completely outside the realm of Harvey Weinstein. I'm trying to glorify Weinstein. Tommy Lee Jones. Okay, not a very attractive man. Let's be honest. Not a very attractive man. An excellent actor, right? I mean, if he was just walking down the street and he had no status, no acting chops or whatever, he'd be a weird looking man, I think. That's just my opinion, because it's subjective. But that's beside the point. Intelligent, talented, successful, without having Denzel Washington looks or Russell Crowe gladiator era looks, It's not a determinative of your life, depending on how you look, but what you do with what you've got.
It turns out that beauty is not a strong predictor of happiness.
No shit. Because no beautiful movie star has ever killed themselves.
Instead, decades of social science research teaches us that assuming our basic needs are met, the strongest predictor of human happiness is the quality of our relationships.
Yeah, and you think the quality of those relationships are helped or hindered by a strong sense of self-respect, reflected, in part, by how you maintain yourself to the world physically. Do you think?
In other words, if you want to improve your happiness and feel more satisfied with your life, you should be investing in your relationships, not in your appearance.
Aha. Relationships like trying to attract a mate, perhaps, which of course entails just no self-maintenance whatsoever.
And let me be clear, being highly attractive might inspire more people to swipe right on your dating profile, but it does nothing to actually improve the quality of those relationships, and it's the quality that matters.
How do you know? How do you know that? I mean, I'm assuming that you have relegated yourself to the category of an unattractive person, or let's just say not a 5 in your scale. You have put yourself, for whatever reason, self-defeatism, lack of self-esteem, who knows, into the 3 or 4 category, I suppose, at best. Well, you've done that. But I'll tell you what. I have known some women in my life who, by all, let's say, objective assessment, probably were not the most attractive women. Right? If you only have a scale from 1 to 5, I'll say they were 3s or 4s, maybe. Okay, maybe even a 2 in there somewhere. But I'll tell you what. I will tell you what, and I am not kidding. Attitude and self-confidence is extremely attractive and can compensate for a lot of things that aren't surface area attractive. I don't know what to tell you. I've come across some people that just have this, you've said it before, this aura about them in the absence of some high standard looks. And they're just attractive people. And not just sexually attractive, but just attractive people. They have a charisma that exceeds what you might imagine of their physical looks. Conversely, I've known some really good-looking people who have the personality of a dead gnat and are obnoxious within about 10 minutes of talking to them. So these things are not for sure. But I'm very curious abstractly to know whether or not our speaker understands that possibility.
So does all of this mean that appearance discrimination doesn't matter?
Appearance discrimination. I would like an example of what you mean by appearance discrimination. Like not dating somebody on the basis of what they look like, or not hiring someone on the basis of what they look like. I'd like a specific if I could get one.
No, that couldn't be further from the truth. My own research focuses on the injustice of appearance discrimination.
Injustice of a subjective. Okay.
It's true that happiness is more important than status and money, but income inequality and appearance-based bullying are serious issues that need to be addressed.
Income inequality and appearance bullying. I thought we were going to have an argument about why you shouldn't invest so much time and money into your looks. But now we're into income inequality and appearance bullying. So is it the beautiful people bullying the ugly people? I assume that's where you're going with that. Because, you know, good-looking people are never bullied by people who are jealous of them or anything. Okay, maybe I'm overthinking this. I probably am. But, of course, that is kind of the point.
Our culture needs to change on all levels to not just accept, but truly embrace bodily diversity.
It does. It really, really does. Have you looked at the search terms in Pornhub over the last several years? I challenge you to look at what people find attractive. And I challenge you not to find a variety of likes and dislikes.
And our legal system needs to acknowledge appearance discrimination as an issue of civil rights.
Okay. So, ERA now? I mean, because women in general are far more appealing to people than men. So, ERA now?
So does this mean it's always bad to care about our looks?
Well, you sure as hell has made an argument towards that end. So, I don't know. You tell me.
I don't think so.
Well, your hair definitely agrees with you.
As a sociologist, I know that a person's style and appearance has strong ties to important things like self-care, cultural identity, personal pride.
Yes, exactly. Is there a but coming?
In my own life, I've cut back substantially on investing in my appearance.
Well, you don't have anybody to impress anymore, do you? You were already married with a kid. So, congratulations.
But I still occasionally love playing around with makeup and fashion.
Like everything you did before doing this TEDx talk? Your hair, your makeup, your glasses, your clothes, your nails. How much did you spend on all that again? That apparently isn't necessary, except when it is for you, I guess.
I'll even let you in on a little secret.
Oh boy.
This isn't my natural hair color.
Oh, wow. Well, at least she addressed it. At least she addressed it. At least she gave contradictory evidence to her own argument that was right before us the whole time. Okay.
But when I say that I play around, I mean play. If it's not fun, it's not worth it.
So someone can't take happiness out of playing with makeup, playing with their hairstyle, playing with their outfits. If someone finds satisfaction in, personal growth and accomplishment and what they do to present themselves to the world and are happy, simply happy and not narcissistic or obsessed, that's a bad thing. If someone decides to go to the gym to lose a few pounds and really gets into bodily health and they end up looking really good physically and they're happy with themselves as a result, they're happy of their efforts to change themselves and alter their lifestyle a little bit, that's a bad thing. And if that does require an investment of time and or money to do, but ultimately it achieves some sense of satisfaction, is that something that shouldn't be pursued because you don't feel it should be, I guess?
So yes, context matters.
Does it? Well, you've thrown context completely out the window in every point up to this. Jesus.
Identity matters. Culture matters. Creativity matters. Fun matters.
But I'm waiting for the but.
But
But
for each of us, there is a point of diminishing returns when it comes to investing in our appearance. I urge you to thoughtfully consider your point of diminishing returns so you can more consciously and strategically use those precious time and resources. Thank you.
Use them for what? I mean, unless you're, I don't know, Jeffree Star or something, presumably you're not spending all of your time worrying about your appearance. Again, that is a very, very small percentage of the population that obsesses over things like that. Or in the makeup YouTubers case, can actually monetize that kind of obsession. Okay, well, that was not informative at all. That sounded more like a self-confession of personal discomfort with her own journey through appearance and her own, I don't know, difficulties or problems in the past with self-esteem issues or interactions with others or self-doubt or whatever else. I mean, I can only take that perspective on it because she didn't offer anything concrete. And for all of her touting research and data, she didn't show any. You notice that? Despite all her dropping of professors and studies and social science, at no point did she put up a slide with any kind of statistics. Even if they were statistics that could be easily manipulated, she didn't put anything up. So, yeah. Okay. She convinced me of nothing, save for an expression of her own personal self-doubt and insecurities. Well, there you go. Another TEDx talk down the drain. I'll take a look at the chat real quick and say some hellos before I sign off for the time being. Sar Jim, hello. Functional, hello. That one servant of Satania who wishes Minilad 1, hello. Let's see. I saw Becca Fairley earlier, hello. Belias Fire, hello. Anybody else? Gen T Maxi, hello. Stargazer Nuts, hello. If I missed anybody, Dr. No, hello. So, if I missed anybody, say hi now. Tristan O'Leary, hello. Ryan Rollins, hello. John Migda, hello. Let's see. That one servant, when it's not, oh, I didn't see that. Okay, so if you have any comments you'd like to add to the recording of the stream, please put them in the chat now. Any other hellos or anything, I'll try to get to as many as I can. Irish Rose, bye. Bye. Chicago Mike, hello. Dead Kaiser says, what a dumpster fire raging out of proportion. I mean, I don't want to say raging. Like I said, this seems to be a reflection of her own insecurities, her own growing up and feeling inadequate or not loved or not attractive enough or something more than anything else. She might cite social scientists and studies and things, but that seems to be more a vehicle for her to justify her own perspective that she wishes everybody else had so she wouldn't feel so uncomfortable with herself. Again, I'm not a psychologist, but I do own a couch. Jay Wolf, hello. Assassin of the Grey, this feminist cannot attract a mate and thinks neither should you. Well, except that she's married with a kid. And I didn't hear anything feminist in there. Not explicitly. I mean, maybe she is. I don't know. The hair color may give it away. I don't know what the color coding is for that, but I didn't hear anything explicitly feminist in there. Mike Downey, hi again, Scribe. Does this lady have a PhD in hypocrisy? I didn't see a PhD in her name there. Her title's there right on the screen. Kirsten Grays. Usually if they have a degree of some kind or something they want to tout, it's usually right up there with it. So I have no idea. Sorry, Jim. Hello. Are you maintaining that social distance thing? Plenty of hand washing, dyeing your hair. Well, social distancing, I can't get much better than not leaving my apartment for the last 3 or 4 days. And presumably won't be doing much of that at all for the foreseeable future, all things considered. Plenty of hand washing, yes, when I need to. And dyeing your hair, no. I have never dyed my hair. I've had people accuse me of dyeing my hair, saying, wow, your hair's far too dark for your complexion, because I have very light skin, or very fair skin, I suppose you'd say. And no, I've never dyed my hair. Although I was advised at one point in college that I should spike my hair and dye it blue. And this piece of advice or encouragement was given to me by a devastatingly attractive girl. All the same, I didn't take it because, well, I'm not quite that weak. Assassin the Gray, the entire argument is third wave feminism's core arguments, beauty standards, inequality, etc. That's true, but there wasn't a whole lot of surrounding feminist rhetoric. There was a lot of social justice sounding rhetoric, like income inequality and justice inequality and things like that. So again, she may indeed be a feminist, and maybe that's part of this, but I didn't hear anything out of the ordinary that spoke to the, the detriment of men over the ascension of women or anything like that. Mike Downey, thank you so much. Have some of my overtime. Well, thank you so much for your generosity. That's very appreciated. Let's see. Nirvana 69. All right, made it to a live one. Well, you made it just in time for me to just about wrap it up. Belias Fire, did she have red hair? Oh, the girl in college? No, actually, she had black hair. Or very dark hair, I guess. I mean, sometimes it's hard to tell. Sorry, Jim. Scribelight, at my age, people keep saying I must have dyed my hair because it doesn't have enough gray. Yeah, at this point in my life, I've got some silver amongst the dark brown, so it looks a little salt and pepper, which I don't hate. But all the same, I still have very dark hair as compared to my fair complexion. But anyway, guys, that'll do it for this. Thank you so much for joining me. As I mentioned at the top of the show, I will be doing more of these as time goes on because, as with so many of you, I am locked down and isolated in my Corona bunker and have an excessive amount of free time on my hands. And that is in stark relation to the amount of free time I had prior to this, which was, for myself, relatively considerable. So I will continue to look for interesting TEDx talks or similar things as we go forward. And as the mood strikes me, I will broadcast my thoughts about them to you for your entertainment and my diminishing sanity, while I try somehow to keep my mental acuity going in my isolation. Again, hope everyone is well. If you are not well, please get well soon. Stay healthy, wash your hands, and I will talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.